Who would have thought that a Jaguar F-Type with pure British bloodline and track talent would be acquired by Vlad for just $18,000? This car has about 17,000 miles on it. Many people know when it first debuted, it was priced at nearly $100,000. Before bidding, Vlad thoroughly inspected the car's condition, finding the interior undamaged and the airbags had not deployed. This lightened the burden for subsequent restoration, as there was no need to dismantle the interior, and many inspection steps could be skipped for this auction price. He felt quite satisfied. He believes that with technical support, after restoration, its value will jump to $50,000. You can see the damage is mainly concentrated in the front. The back looks fine. The headlights are completely gone, besides the left and right fenders. The hood and bumper need repair, while the doors and rear section don't need work. For this condition, Vlad was extremely satisfied. Now, the priority is to unload the car and move it to the garage. Currently, this Jaguar can still start normally, which indicates the engine may not be seriously damaged, just uncertain if the radiator is leaking. Without coolant, the car can start briefly, but not for too long. Driving off the trailer at the garage won't harm the engine. Next, he'll do preliminary disassembly to determine the extent of damage. The entire front fascia needs to be removed. The bumper is a total loss. Even the symbolic little Jaguar emblem is in jeopardy, but this emblem still has collection value. Although the front crash box is severely bent, the frame rails are in decent condition, just slightly deformed. To repair the left and right frame rails, Vlad decided to first remove all cooling components, then pull and realign the frame rails. He dismantled and inspected simultaneously, discovering the overall cooling effect was poor, with only a small amount of coolant remaining inside. Most had leaked out, although visually it seemed fine. Vlad suspected there might be problems with the connections. Like this electronic fan, it appears undamaged, but still needs further inspection. Since the impact occurred on the right side, the vehicle shifted to the left. So, during frame correction, it needs to be pulled to the right. At this point, the damage situation was mostly clear. To save costs, he considered finding a wrecked car of the same model as a parts car. With more savings, the profit would naturally be more substantial. However, the Jaguar he found was a 3.0-liter model, not entirely fitting his needs. Initially, he found a front fascia online, but the seller was offering the entire front assembly, priced at over $9,600. As used disassembled parts, he felt it wasn't worth it. So, he continued searching online. The search went on for nearly 2 months. One pair of headlights was priced at $1,500, relatively reasonable. Additionally, he found a dealer-quoted bumper, priced at nearly $2,700. Needless to say, it was definitely expensive, since he needed many parts. He made a list. If all purchased from dealers, it would cost over $20,000. So, he decided to continue waiting. Finally, one day, he found a 2015 model. Same year Jaguar. Even more fortunate, this car had experienced a fire. The interior was completely burned, but the front still looked intact. This was perfect for him, because all the parts he needed, including the entire front and cooling system, were there. Vlad participated in the auction without hesitation. The starting bid was only $2,300. However, the bidding process was extremely difficult. Every time he thought he was about to succeed, the price would climb again. Eventually, Vlad won the car at $5,300, successfully winning the auction, including additional processing fees. The total cost was $5,993, although slightly higher than expected. It was undoubtedly a good deal. He knew once these parts were installed on his car, the value would multiply. All he needed was the cooling system, front bumper, and headlights. As for the exhaust, 4 wheel rims, and the front engine, and other usable parts, all could be removed and sold. Vlad's move was undoubtedly profitable. Even the rear taillights had market value. His 2 months of waiting was definitely worth it. You can see, the doors of this car and exterior bodywork are intact. What delighted him most was, this car's color matched his vehicle. For those not too picky about paint, they might feel repainting is unnecessary. However, the interior was severely damaged. The entire interior almost completely burned. For a car like this, it can basically only be considered salvage, but its engine can still be sold as a salvage part. The hood was cut open from the middle. Likely firefighters trying to quickly extinguish the fire directly used cutting tools. Due to the urgency, there was no time to open it slowly. From this angle, the engine seems unaffected by the fire. However, Vlad still needs to carefully check to determine if during the hood cutting process, damage was caused to the left headlight. Additionally, although the side's bumper was cut, fortunately, this damage is repairable. In comparison, the rear bumper cannot be repaired because the paint surface has many fire marks. Vlad plans to take the vehicle home first and then disassemble it after parking the car properly. He begins the disassembly work. The main goal is to remove needed parts, such as the front bumper and entire cooling system. He'll determine if these two headlights are usable. If they truly can't be used, he'll buy two new covers for replacement, because the internal parts of the headlights are fine. Vlad carefully inspected this car's engine, finding it had not suffered any damage, including no coolant leakage. Next, he continues disassembling the bumper, one of the parts he needs most. Previously quoted by dealers at $2,700. Isn't that a complete ripoff? So far, all parts removed are in good condition, without any damage. All can continue to be used. The entire cooling system was easily removed. Here's the support bracket and some intake pipes. The two front frame rails of this car and crash boxes are very important. His cars were deformed from impact. The price for these two is also reportedly very expensive at dealers. It's hard to find anything cheap. Now, he looks at this car with increasing satisfaction, feeling he's made another profitable deal, because all these salvage parts for him are like finding free money. Once he sells these parts, he can recover his cost and even profit. All the needed parts have been removed. Next is the assembly work. He plans to put the vehicle on a frame straightener. FOR repairs. The entire frame rail correction won't be too labor-intensive and doesn't need to involve complex work like removing the engine. He drives the car onto the frame machine and secures it. If the frame or the entire body's metal condition isn't serious, it just needs simple pulling to fix. The brackets firmly connect the body to the frame straightening machine. Next is to repair the connection between the frame rail and crash box. During this process, he found some slight tearing at the connection point, which needs special attention and treatment. You can see the connection points above and below are slightly damaged. This area needs welding repair. During the repair process, heat treatment and hammering are needed to eliminate residual stress in the metal. Fortunately, only the left side was damaged. The right side is still intact. In car bodywork, releasing metal stress is very important, because some major accidents often cause serious damage to the vehicle's frame rails and suspension system, causing severe injury to critical components like the steering system. If the internal stress in the metal isn't relieved timely, it will lead to metal fatigue in the body, suspension system, and control components, making them prone to braking. Once the vehicle experiences a minor collision, released stress will cause serious widespread damage. During repairs, Vlad used methods to relieve stress: flame treatment and hammering. There's also a method called aging treatment, which means letting it sit naturally for a period. But this might not be the first choice for mechanics, because time is money. That said, common stress relief methods are hammering and heat treatment, though occasionally other stress relief methods are used. Now you can see the position of the relief hole has been fitted with a brand new crash box, fitting perfectly, but the cracks above and below still need welding, along with manual metal repair, because when installing the tow hook, the metal surface easily becomes uneven from pulling, leaving small dents. The front crash box doesn't need excessive tightening. Space should be left for subsequent gap adjustment. At this initial stage, just secure its position. The other side needs similar treatment. Afterwards, both sides need precise measurement for alignment, calibrated with a level, ensuring both frame rails are horizontally aligned. The right side operation follows the same procedure, using tow hooks to gradually straighten the left half. The flame appears again, heating to release potential stress. Now Vlad has completed the repair. The next task is measuring if the body's vertical height is consistent. This step is crucial. The key is confirming if it's on the same horizontal line. Then verify if the width on both sides is consistent. However, this width reference data needs to be obtained from another vehicle. This shows that this fire-damaged car still has its value. First, he measured the distance between the two crash boxes, then measured the distance at the top edge, consistent with the data measured earlier on that fire-damaged vehicle. Now, he just needs to connect and secure all the bolts, placing all parts one by one onto the vehicle for a visual comparison. Next is installing the vehicle's headlights and front bumper to check how the gaps look. After installing the headlights and bumper, the gaps are even, with no color difference. Same year, model, and color. The only regret is one side of the bumper has been cut open. He then proceeded to install the radiator, releasing the body fasteners. At this point, all front additional components need to be disassembled one by one. Given this model's hood has a front opening design, the radiator cannot be installed directly on it. The radiator assembly is slowly pushing from the top front of the car, and the bumper brackets are secured. Then he can proceed to install the air filter. This is the intercooler system's air filter box, not the usual intake device. If the air intake were placed here, the vehicle's weighting ability would be greatly reduced. Vlad has now completed installing the front cooling components, but the bumper still awaits assembly because coolant still needs to be added, and the radiator connection pipes checked for leaks, although such problems usually don't occur. After all, the complete set of parts and piping system are fully equipped and show no damage. But caution is still necessary if leaks are found. They need immediate attention. Vlad added about 2.5 bottles of coolant, then started the vehicle, letting the coolant level naturally decrease. Now let's wake up this beast. The flashing warning light on the dashboard is because the headlights haven't been installed yet. Once the lights are installed, it will quietly disappear. Vlad noticed no other warning lights were on, so a test drive is necessary. After all, he hasn't properly driven this new car since getting it. Everything is ready. The vehicle now meets test drive standards. He plans to visit a friend's shop for wheel alignment. It's not far, given the current state of the vehicle. As long as police don't spot him, driving should be fine. If police discover him, he might face vehicle impoundment and fines, since the front bumper and headlights aren't installed yet. Next, the vehicle is hoisted for wheel alignment. Perhaps the term wheel alignment isn't unfamiliar to many car enthusiasts, but few truly understand its importance. For older cars, wheel alignment is particularly crucial, especially when driving at highway speeds of 70 to 80 miles per hour. It ensures your driving safety and stability. When your vehicle experiences severe wheel or steering wheel vibration, be sure to check promptly after the wheel alignment is completed. The next step is repairing the crack in the bumper. This bumper isn't made of plastic, but a material similar to fiberglass. So, he plans to first carefully sand the outer layer. After sanding, he'll apply fiber cloth and adhesive. The inside will be filled with adhesive, while the outside will be repaired using fiber cloth. Next, Vlad will address the uneven surface of the bumper. He plans to use sanding to restore its smoothness. As for these edges, they don't significantly affect the bumper's overall strength, but repairs can still achieve perfection. After sanding, body filler is applied to create a perfect shape. Once the filler is applied, wait for it to dry. Next comes painting. Now, he's carefully mixing the paint. The professionalism of his workshop is evident. I believe you're familiar with his operation room. He has precise paint ratios here. Once mixed, he can begin spraying, solving color difference issues. For vehicle painting, it's usually 3 coats of base paint and coats of clear coat. After all painting procedures are completed, vehicle assembly begins immediately. These headlights seem to have been repaired. After all, they were removed from that fire-damaged car, originally showing slight wear marks. But from the current perspective, this headlight looks like new. He's extremely careful during installation. After all, this light is expensive, costing over $1,400 to prevent scratches on the headlights. When installing the bumper and hood, he specially added protective devices to the edges of the headlights. After all, this car will soon be sold, bringing in profit, so it can't have any flaws. He has pre-assembled the grille section of the bumper, just needing to snap the clips and tighten the bolts, and this car will be roughly assembled. Currently, it only lacks the fender liners and the lower bumper cover. Installing these parts requires lifting the vehicle to raise it up. Looking at it again, this car's panel gaps fit perfectly. Vlad has a special fondness for carbon fiber rims from the fire-damaged car, believing they look more premium than the originals. Plus, for brand new Pirelli tires, he plans to keep these wheels. The right side liner was consumed by flames, while the left side remains intact. He carefully installed the inner fender liner, then assembled the engine undercover. Before installing his favorite wheels, he first conducted a thorough inspection of the chassis to ensure no oil leaks. The chassis is in excellent condition. After all wheels were installed, the restoration project of this Jaguar F-Type was almost complete. Next, the vehicle's interior and overall exterior will undergo thorough cleaning, polishing, and waxing treatment, as this car has already been purchased. At this moment, he's test driving to verify the restoration results. Now, the car is being loaded onto a trailer, ready to be transported to West Asia. How much do you think he can earn? Welcome to leave comments below. That's all for this video. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video. See you in the next episode.